Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to Cricket Talk with that man there, Richard Moss. He's even gone to the trouble of changing the shirts behind him. I like little touches like that, Rich. I do like it. Talk me through, as a new cricket fan, a developing cricket fan, what am I looking at there behind your shoulders?
This is the T20 shirt of mine that they played in 2016 when we lost in the final to the West Indies. And the other shirt's just an England polo shirt.
It's nice though. That one on the left is particularly very nice. Big day this afternoon. Obviously, semi-final against New Zealand. First ball is at 2 p.m. How are we feeling?
Martin wasn't sure, everyone, what it was called because it's like football's a kick-off, isn't it? Baseball, was it first pitch?
First pitch, yeah. You got the coin toss in NFL. That really sort of started the game. I just wanted to get the terminology right because I didn't want
the toss. They have the toss. The toss will be at 1:30 to see who bats or bowls.
There you go. You go. So at the toss, let's start there. It's a good place to start. If England should win the toss, what do you want them to do? How do you think they should attack this game this afternoon?
Well, this is played at the Sheikh Zayed Stadium, Martin, in Abu Dhabi. And the toss in cricket, it depends where you're playing, what the conditions. This is very crucial, mate. Because I think it's 6 o'clock out there it starts.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get heavy dew later on in the evening. So you really want to be winning the toss and bowling because later on in the evening, that ball will become really, really wet.
Yeah,
you'll see them all carrying cloths. They'll have the cloths carrying around. We have won a game. We beat Sri Lanka bowling second. So it shows that we are adaptable. But whoever wins the toss today, you will see will be bowling first.
Okay, get that.
You know? This is crucial. And I think I was listening to Owen Morgan saying, you wouldn't say you win the toss, you win the game, but I think if it goes a very long way in these conditions to winning the game, you know. And you don't really want that in cricket. You want it to be an even contest when it's probably not. But like he said, what can we do? Because obviously they're playing it at 6 p.m. out in Abu Dhabi, primetime TV. You know, it's under floodlights. And we all know, look, football, any sport now, it's probably governed by television, Martin, when you're going to get the most viewers watching. So that's just how it is, I'm afraid. You just have to get on with it. Hopefully we win the toss and we bowl. And if we don't, we'll have to win the other way.
Yeah, exactly. And however we find a way to win, we obviously got one of the big questions coming into it is losing Jason Roy and how we replace him, particularly.
You've been doing your research, haven't you?
I said, I have. I do commit something when I commit to it.
Yeah, I like it. I've got that here on my little cards, replacing Roy.
There you go. How do we replace Roy? Do you go with Bairstow? Do you go Livingston, Moeen Ali? Because whatever you do will affect the middle order. Look at this.
You know your onions. It is a real blow losing him because he's a key component of the team, and he's I think he tore his calf. If you see it, he was literally going for a run. He literally gone a yard, and it had gone, and he had to hop all down there. And they were saying, "Oh, he's going to have tests tomorrow." You knew as soon as you'd done that, Martin. If you tear your calf muscle, you're not playing. You're not playing 4 days later. There's no chance he's going to be out. He's staying out there, which is good to support the team, which I really like that.
Yeah, that's togetherness. Before we go further, let's just bring in Brandon Carter. Brandon, welcome. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you.
Good. No, really excited that you could join us for talking cricket. We're just talking about replacing Jason Roy. I'll let you two, the aficionados of the cricket world, really discuss that one. I'll just sit here and listen and take it in.
I think Jason Roy, personally, in any white ball cricket, is my favourite player to watch. I was gutted when he didn't really take off in the test scene. I think that what he does, which not many batsmen can do, mind you, I think Bairstow is a suitable replacement up the order. I think that what he does is he takes away 2 runs per over that you're going to be chasing through 20 overs, just from the way he starts. He can get us to 40 odd for none after 3 overs. And all that does means if someone else is coming in later down the line, we're going to be chasing 7 and over instead of 9 and over, things like that. I think for the rest of the tournament, as I said, I think Bairstow can do the same role that Roy does at the top of the order. I don't think that's the worry. I think the only thing we might miss is Bairstow down the order. I don't think Billings is going to bring as much as Bairstow would do down there. And although we obviously don't really think to select him anymore. I think this is a sort of case when you do miss Alex Hales a little bit. If you had Alex Hales coming into this team today, I don't think you'd be missing Roy at all, really. Obviously, he's been benched for whatever reason. He hasn't really got into the atmosphere
if you want to know about Alex Hales, he was a naughty boy and he's been put out to pasture. And look, Morgan said before about this, the door's not closed, but we know Brandon. He's not.
It is.
He can do whatever. Yeah. He can do whatever. He's had it. To me, very talented player, but I think if you make mistakes, you're gonna have to pay the price. He knew at the time, and I don't really think we've missed him. Honestly, I think he's very talented, Brandon. But
I agree, but I think that's because you have players like Roy. I mean, all of our 2020 players, we bat down to 7 or 8. I mean, Moeen Ali in county and cricket and franchise cricket, he opens the band, doesn't he? Yeah, so we have so many people who do bat at the top of the order, and I think that's more so the strength of English white ball. It's not to say that he isn't one of the best openers in T20 in the world, because he probably is, but I find it weird that obviously you mentioned that he has been a naughty boy, but so was Stokes, and Stokes has been welcomed back in because of his ability. And you could argue that, in a way, I suppose Alex Hales has been a bit hard done by in terms of him not being allowed to get involved. But I think it's amazing that we're going into a semi-final and a hopeful final, and with 2 of our best 3 white ball players haven't even travelled to this tournament in Stokes and Archer. And I think that goes to show just the strength of our sort of white ball cricket as a whole. And going into any white ball game, I see us as favourites at the moment. I genuinely don't turn on a game expecting anything less than fireworks, which is credit to, I think, the staff and just the whole group and sort of culture that Morgan sort of built, I suppose. And as you sort of said, I suppose Alex Hales maybe doesn't buy into that same culture and get that same sort of atmosphere around the dressing room. It's similar to Norwood of Ipswich, isn't it? In that Norwood's not the personality that goes into the Ipswich dressing room, and it's probably the same with Alex Hales, I suppose. But
we've got Ben Moore. Livingston, for me, he gives us a different dimension, which it need at times. Any thoughts to Liam Livingston Crunch starting the order? Because obviously he does start, I believe, for Lancashire.
You've been doing a lot of research, haven't you? You know everything.
I do. So
he does open for Lancashire. Would he open for England? I don't think he's never opened in a T20 for England. I'd be very surprised if this afternoon you see him walking out first with Butler. I think, like I say, Brennan, Bairstow's nailed on for that opener. You have got Moeen Ali. That is a different option, left-hander.
Left hand, right hand, that would be the only other way I'd go. But Bairstow, as I said, Bairstow just brings the same thing that Roy can, and you're not missing out on that flying start that Bairstow can offer. Moeen Ali can blow hot and cold, can't he? So
it's just interesting, like you said about Billings, who they bring in to replace Roy, because you could bring Billings in. You've got James Vince they've called in as a replacement, or you could go David Willey, another left armer, a bowler, different option.
The problem is we've had bowlers in this tournament that haven't bowled because Livingston has bowled more overs probably than you'd expect because the pitch is out there. So I think you have a problem with, if you pick another bowler, you may well be sacrificing a baton spot, which I know that the way that the team's built, really, it's ideal that we're never really short on either side. But if Mark Wood plays, which I would, I think
he could go at 7, but I wouldn't want him at 7. I'll bring him, if it's up to me, I'll bring in Billings. I think Billings, he has shown that he can do it. But he's never really had that opportunity where he's had a run of games, because we've been so consistent, haven't we? And so good. It's really a struggle to get into this team, like you were saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got Stokes and Archer, who are probably, they're nailed on first choices. They're not even in the team at the minute. So it shows how strong we are, what strength and depth we've got, and we've just got all bases covered. And I think whoever they bring in will do the job.
Why hasn't Archer or Stokes travelled, Ben Moore?
Archer's been dealing with an elbow issue that he's had sort of ongoing, and he's similar to Markwood and Tymal Mills. The people who bowl express above 90 miles per hour tend to get injured quite often. Mm-hmm. I don't know what Australia tends to do with their seamers, because they always tend to be fit. But Archer's been injured. There's been rumbles that he might.
I don't think they play the amount of cricket we do, Brandon. The Aussies don't play the amount of cricket. They've had until this T20.
They haven't, definitely not.
The pandemic was a little bit different. They've hardly played, so
I
we
think
probably play more than anyone, don't we? cricket all around
we
the world.
do, and that's arguably why our white ball cricket is so sound, because the cricket that we're playing, and obviously when they're not playing cricket, a lot more English players now are franchising, aren't they? I think that when the IPL started, you'd have Kevin Peterson out there, and he's pretty much the only one, and now you look at it, and throughout the whole team, they all really play, don't they? Franchise cricket, so.
It's become a very popular thing. Now, whether New Zealand bat or bowl first, they're going to be trying. They've got some fast bowlers, I believe. Trent Bolt and Tim Southey, Cruncher, is that right?
Yeah.
Now they want to be tested in the middle order because apparently, according to my research, the middle order hasn't been tested in this tournament.
You've been reading exactly what I've been reading.
So, well, you got. I've been reading a various.
That's spot on. Bolt is, I think he's second on. He's got 11 wickets in the tournament. He's second to Hasaranga, Sri Lanka, top wicket taker. Good with a new ball. He's a left armer. Southey's right arm. Look, they're both experienced, aren't they, Brandon? They've been around for years. They know what the thing is.
I like their bowling attack. I do like their bowling attack. I think that
I'm a big fan of the
They haven't even played Lockie Ferguson, have they?
No, he's injured, so they've got Adam Milnes in instead of him. But I love watching the Kiwis. I love their mentality. Kane Williamson, the captain, Martin, he's one of my favourite cricketers. I think he's a great cricketer, but he's a real good person as well, you know. And we've had, obviously we beat them, didn't we, in the World Cup final 2019. That could have gone either way, probably one of the best finals ever. But it's going to be a tough game today. And Southey and Bolt will be looking to get some early wickets because, like you said, Martin, the middle order of ours, we haven't really needed it. So if they could get 2 or 3 early wickets and get into Morgan, you know, and people who like Billings, whoever comes in, put them under pressure, and then it's going to be tough. But if we can get off to a fine start, if Butler's still out there after 6 overs, Brandon, I think it could be fireworks.
I think the toss is very important to New Zealand. I don't think if they bat first, I don't think they have the batting capability of putting on 180 plus. They're more so a team that relies heavily on their bowling sort of restricting the other team's batting.
Yeah.
If they bowl first and we bat first and we score 140, 150, I think that suits them because then they can you don't have to go at such a rate to get to that. And that's what Williamson and things like that. That's where he thrives, just batting through 20 overs and getting what you need. I think if we bowl first against them, what you've seen with a lot of teams that we've skittled, I think they feel they have to go at 10 and over because our batting. They think if we don't get 200 here, we're not winning, which means then they get skittled. And I think that I don't see England losing batting second today. I think the way that we lose is if they restrict us to 140 odd batting first. I struggle to see us not.
I've got like power hitting. They said the Kiwi. Obviously, we got Butler, we got Bairstow, we got Livingston, we got plenty of people who clear ropes. Guptill's the key for them up the top.
He is.
Like say, if they win the toss, they'll go hard with him. If you get him out early, that's a massive part of their team gone, isn't it? If he stays in and bats 10, 12 overs Guptill, you know the rate he can score in that. But
all of their middle order batsmen are all tests, aren't they? They're all test specialists, their middle order. So,
but let's not underestimate them, Martin, because the Kiwis they're a very good side, you know, and we know what they bring. I think it'll be tight today. I really do. I think it'll be a tight game.
He says England's batting depth is better than New Zealand's, and we should win.
I agree.
Colin says 180 plus, please, England.
I think it all depends on how the start is. As I said, I think if we bat first and they get us 3 or 4 down, then naturally we'll have to sort of try and rescue a score of, as I said, sort of 140, 150. That's where New Zealand have won their games this tournament. It hasn't been from batting first and smashing 200. It's been laying heavily on their bowling and then just Williamson to guide them home.
But then it showed when we played Sri Lanka, I think, Brandon, we had, 47 for 3, weren't we, after 10 overs when we lost some early wickets there. Butler and Morgan were in. And then they went mental the last 10 overs and we got 161, 163, I think. So
we can. New Zealand's bowling attack's obviously a little bit better, though. I think that's where the difference is, isn't it? And all due respect to Sri Lanka, since Sangakkara and Jai Wardner and Malinga, they've all retired. I think Sri Lanka are the bottom of the barrel, the better teams, aren't they now? Or the well-known cricket sides out there. But I think this will be the test. I fancy us to beat. Obviously, if we got Australia in the final, if we got through, we saw what we done to them in the group stages. And if we got Pakistan, if you get the two openers for Pakistan out, they're another one that they don't really have the depth, do they? You look down their order and they have who's there? They have a left arm spinner who's his name Shadib, is it Shadib Khan?
Yeah. That's
he comes in far too high for me. I think if he was looking at India or England, he'd be batting 7, 8, 9. I just feel that if you get Bubba and Rizwan for them, they don't have much either. But I'm more scared of Pakistan than Australia, but I'm probably more scared of New Zealand than both of them, if I'm being honest with you.
Ooh, Grant, what do you think of that?
Pakistan, I've said on there before, Martin, they're a real strange team, aren't they, Brandon? You never know. We could turn up, we could play Pakistan in the final. They could skittle us out for 100, or we could get 200. They could bat, and they could just collapse. They're a team. I like watching Pakistan because you never quite know what team is going to turn up. But they've probably been with England the standout team in this tournament, haven't they? Really, when you think they hammered India,
they have. Yeah,
they're a good side.
As I said, that did come from the top order, didn't it? As I said, I don't rate their middle order batsmen at all. Bubba is an unbelievable player. He's probably across all three formats. I think he's better than Kohli, to be honest. I think Bubba Azam is just absolute class. I genuinely think he could be the best cricketer in the world. I know Williamson is, as we've sort of touched on for this game, Williamson's class as well. But in white ball cricket, Bubba Azam's just.
Can you put safety guys comment up there, Martin?
I certainly can. This short game can change quickly. England bat first, decent score. It's always hard to chase.
That's a really good comment because I think everyone thinks 20 overs is a real short time. It's longer than you actually think, and it can change in 2 or 3 balls, can't it, Brandon? You think you're doing really well. Like the game against Sri Lanka when they were chasing and they had 2 players that were in there. They were looking, they might chase the score down. I think we got them out within about 3 balls and then the game's totally turns on its head. So you just got to hang in there sometimes. If we bat first today and say we only score 140, 150, you'd say the Kiwis are going to be favourites, but it's not as simple as that. We've got the bowlers. It'd be interesting to see who he opens up with, Brandon. Will he open up with Moeen Ali today? Probably not, against Guptill.
No,
so I think if he opens up with Moeen Ali today, Guptill will go after him. Rashid.
Guptill's right-handed, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I think if he faces first, which I think he does, if you're going to open with a spinner, you'd be better off with Rashid.
Yeah, I think that
because Moeen Ali spinning into him, leg side boundary. Apparently, did I read earlier that this is the highest scoring ground out of the 3 in the tournament?
I'm not sure.
I think they've got the longest sort of boundaries, leg side, like square the wicket. But if you open with Moeen Ali, Guptill could, as you said, hit him everywhere. I'd open with Rashid maybe if you're going to go with a spinner. But other than that, it'll be Wokes from one end, I imagine. Newport.
Yeah, Wokes has bowled. I've got a stat for you, Martin. Wokes has bowled the most deliveries in the power play, and he's only going at 5.1 runs per over, which is very good. But Moeen Ali, he's opened up and he's bowled the most balls by a spinner in the power play. So interesting to see what we do.
It really will be. You've got Lee Bayliss. We have the bowling to defend any score, and Colin Plum, John Arlott, legend of the mic. So obviously the first ball is at 2 p.m. Not long now. I'll ask you both as we round up the show, unless there's anything else we've missed, Rich. Do you both fully expect to see England in the final? And if so, who do you think will be with them? Not who you want, who do you think will be with them?
I do think we'll be in the final, but like I said before you come on, Brandon, the toss here is massive.
It is.
With the dew coming down at night, I think whoever wins the toss is going to be heavy favourites, Martin. So when that coin spins at, I think it's 130, I think let's hope it comes down for us. I think if we win the toss, nailed on to win, but never write the Kiwis off. And I'm going to go for Australia to beat Pakistan in the other semi. It's got a funny feeling with the Aussies.
Yeah, and then there could be the Australian revenge game. Brandon, what do you think?
As I sort of said, I struggle to see if England bat second. So I suppose echoing what Crunch said there, I don't see England losing if we bat second. I really don't, and that's what we will do if we win the toss. I'll be very surprised if it's otherwise. I also said earlier that I favour England every white ball game they play, just because how good we have been. So I think we're going to get to the final. It's hard to back Pakistan at all because of how inconsistent they are, and as I said, how much they rely on Babar and Rizwan. If Australia get Babar and Rizwan out in the first few overs, that'll be a walkthrough for Australia. I'll go Pakistan just because they tend to play well in big moments. If they get to semi-finals and finals, they tend to turn up. And then it will all come down to how we start in the final if we get there as well, depending on
should it be so, in our game, Brandon, just before we go, should it be weighed so heavily on the toss? Because I said to Martin, it is a case of win the toss probably here and win the game with a condition.
Yeah, I think that's been a problem through the whole tournament, hasn't it? Some games there has been dew set in and some there hasn't. So I suppose you're sort of crossing your fingers that dew doesn't affect the game, because with it being such a short format, it does play such a massive role, doesn't it? In 50 over game, it might not play as much of a role, but with it being 2020 and you're relying on sort of going at 100 miles per hour through the whole innings, as soon as a team has an advantage like that, of dew being on the ball or not being on the ball, it's a massive swing, isn't it? It's probably 70-30 straight away to whoever's batting second. And you're relying on bowling extremely well in the first innings to have a chance, aren't you? But
there you go. All right. Well, whatever happens, we'll be back to this evening at 8 p.m. to give our thoughts on the T20 semi-final this afternoon. It's been a real pleasure discussing cricket with you both, particularly yourself, Brandon. Nice to have you on board with the cricket talk. That is right, isn't it, Rich? Back tonight, 8 p.m.
8 p.m. And well done to you for all your stats and all swatting up on it.
I know.
You can turn your mind to anything, mate. When you put your mind to it.
I don't know about that.
Cricket fan in the making.
Absolutely. We're back tonight, 8 p.m. Let's see how I do with the game. But until then, catch you later.